All right, it's been a while since I've done a Commodore video. Summer's over, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more of these. Summer is the time for hot rod season, and I like to take a lot of our cars to some of the hot rod shows, and that keeps me pretty busy in the summer. But we're back, summer's over, so here we go. Got this Commodore 64 from somebody who bought it on eBay. They bought it untested, and of course it doesn't work. So let's see what we've got. I've already got everything plugged in, and see what happens when we turn it on. Okay, so we got a screen with a border, no text. So there you go. Here's your best time to guess at what the issue might be. In the meantime, let's go ahead and plug in our diagnostic cartridge in here. We'll set it for diag first. Okay, so the diag cartridge seems to be working fine. Let's see where if we encounter errors. We don't have the harness plugged in, obviously, so we're gonna get CIA errors and U18 SID errors and the port errors, but that's normal without the harness. Just want to see if it goes through all the tests. And since I haven't opened it yet, hopefully we'll have a good SID. Okay, it seems to be stuck just as it reached the interrupt stage, so it doesn't even get to the sound portion of this. Let's go for, you know what, let's do a dead test real quick and see if the dead test goes through, because the diag and the dead test are just a little bit different each. Okay, so the dead test starting up just like the diag test did. Let's see if it goes through the whole thing. Okay, so we're getting some sound here, but the sound is garbly, so obviously there's probably something up with the SID chip, that's for sure. But the interesting thing is the dead test goes through the sound and bypasses that interrupt. So that interrupt test. So typically that's a sign of the CIA's probably being bad, or one of them being bad. But the thing is, the CIA timers look fine. So sometimes the SID causes the problems, and the SID does sound pretty bad. So anyways, put your bets in on what you think this might be. We're going to try one more thing here real quick. Let's do the Desmond tests here. Desmond, was it? Anyways, and there you go. So unexpected IRQ. So that Desmond test isn't going to go any further than that. So we're stuck on that IRQ, on that interrupt problem. So let's go ahead and pull this case apart and get to the chips, and let's test a few of the chips. Hopefully they're socketed, and we'll take it from there. So stay tuned. All right, let's see what we've got here. So nice that it's a 407 board and everything is socketed, so that's good. This is kind of strange, having two copper ground straps here, so that's interesting. Let's pop this and take a look at the VIC chip here. Okay. Kind of looks like this has been gone through at some point in time, because I don't see much in terms of thermal paste. All right, so let's get rid of this. Well, before we start going down the road of getting rid of taking the board out and everything, I notice that this screw here is a little bit loose. So I think someone has been here before. So let's start testing some chips since they're all socketed. For one, let's start attacking that SID chip and get that out of there. Okay, so the SID chip isn't good. We kind of knew that already from the garbled sounds we were getting during the diag test or the dead test. So we'll take that out. And just to see, because sometimes the SID chip can cause problems, let's go ahead and test this one more time, just as it is now, without the SID chip. Okay, same problem. So next, we can look at the CIAs, but let's take a look at the proverbial PLA. This chip is not an original chip. So it's been replaced once. Okay, that's good. PLA's passed, so we know it's not the PLA. So that screen with the board or without text, sometimes the CIAs, sometimes it's also the basic ROM. So let's take a look at the basic ROM here real quick. Okay, 3D56 is a good basic ROM. So the basic ROM is fine. That's the correct checksum that we should be getting, is 3D56. So let's put the basic ROM back. And that would have actually been my first guess, is the basic ROM, but let's go to the CIAs next. The CIAs both had good timing. So, um, this is kind of probably wishful thinking. Beyond the CIA's, the next and last thing we'll test, obviously, is the VIC chip. Well, I don't know. Let's do this one. We'll give it one more shot here. Well, our first hunch, like I said during the diag and the dead test, usually when you see the screen with the border with no text, it's the CIA is usually the first culprit. So that still holds true. Let's replace the CIA chip and see if this solves our problem. All right. There we go. Okay, so we know this is a good chip. Let's go ahead and pop that in here. All right, let's turn this thing on and see if that solved that. There you go. All right. So to summarize here really quick, we turned it on. We had a border. We had blue, the normal blue screen with the border with no text. Usually, like again, the common thing for that is usually the CIA, and that's what it was. Along the way, we also found that the SID was garbled, not working very well. Okay, so let's put a good working SID in here. And let's try this one more time. All right. So I guess that does that. So that's good. Again, you see the bad chips on there only because I don't have the full harness hooked up. But I'll do that off screen with if I find something funny that comes up, then I'll just continue the video. Otherwise, I'll just stop here for the sake of making this video short enough. So let me put this back together and then we'll do a really quick summary and call it a day. So hold on tight. All right. So there we go. Like I said, we got a blue screen, a normal blue screen with a border with no text, and that usually points to the CIA. Got thrown off a little bit because the timers matched on the CIA's, but nonetheless, it proved itself true again. We found a bad SID, we replaced the SID, and we found that one bad CIA. CIA1 replaced that, and now we have a nice working system. So this was a nice way to come back to the Commodore realm after a long summer of hot rod season. And hopefully I'll get a few more videos going here. But in the meantime, like I always say, enjoy life. You only live once. It's short. Live every day like it's your last. All right. Peace out.